Put on your mic, please.
Sir, as of 2019, sir, there are 6,630 APMC markets in the country. The average geographical area served by each APMC is 496 square per kilometer. The Dalwai Committee 2018 noted a need for 10,000 such markets, and the National Commission on Farmers 2006 recommended that the average geographical area to be served by one market should be 80 square kilometer. Thus, there is a clear need for more markets. Sir, farmers are often required to pay fees, even if they do not use any APMC infrastructure, as long as their land is within the notified market area. Farmers are often restricted to selling produce only to APMC licensed traders. The committee which grants such license is supposed to comprise elected farmers and traders, but is often dominated by traders, sir. Thus, there is a vested interest in keeping competition limited and not granting many new licenses. Licensing requirements also discourage restaurants, caterers, and large processors from directly entering the market. Instead, they rely on intermediaries who take a share of the price, thus reducing the price realized by the farmers. Collusion amongst traders in APMCs has been observed by the Competition Commission of India. So, if I talk about infrastructure, it's really very poor. Only 65% have washroom facilities, 15% have cold storage facilities, and only 49% have weighing facilities. All the aforementioned problems directly affect the price that farmers get for their produce. So while the bill theoretically gives greater choice to farmers regarding the sale of their produce, in reality, farmers will remain constrained by practical considerations regarding where, how, and to whom they sell. So I will give some examples like, sir, lack of transportation, determining the venue of transaction, lack of storage facilities and capital dictating the time of sale, that is immediately after harvest, they need to sell to creditors as a form of repayment, determining to whom they sell. To benefit from the bill, farmers will need sufficient capital, understanding of price fluctuations, market intelligence, internet connectivity. Thus, the benefits are likely to be realized by large farmers as opposed to small and marginal farmers. Moreover, due to economies of scale, buyers are also likely to prefer large farmers, so small farmers are going to be ignored very clearly. So, to ensure fair remuneration, it is important that the bargaining power of small and marginal farmers be increased, for example, by encouraging the growth of farmer-producer organizations. Regulation of APMCs is not sufficient in and of itself to ensure better price realization for farmers. Structural reforms are necessary. For example, ensuring better access to credit, transportation, and storage facilities to allow farmers to separate marketing decisions from production decisions. Some may be not direct, but what are the indirect impact of the bill? APMCs may fade away, sir. Though the bill does not abolish existing APMCs, it may end up having that impact by creating platforms where zero tax trade can take place. Notwithstanding the aforementioned problems, APMCs fulfill some important functions, especially for small and marginal factors. They provide an assured market to farmers, provide storage facilities, act as a medium for price discovery at the local level. As a cautionary tale, the abolishment of APMCs in Bihar has not resulted in a better realization for small farmers. It has in fact made them more vulnerable, sir, to exploitation by traders, with traders buying produce below MSP and selling it at higher price in other states. So, really important point, sir, certain provisions that need clarification, sir. The bill states that farmers have to be paid on the same day or within 3 working days for scheduled farmers' produce. Does this protection extend to sale of unscheduled farmers' produce? In the case of interstate trade, where can the dispute resolution mechanism be triggered? Where the produce is cultivated or where the trade takes place? So agriculture and markets and fairs are state subjects. Trade commerce of foodstuffs, raw cotton, raw jute, etc. is in the concurrent list. Interstate trade and commerce is in the union list. In the past, central governments have sought to regulate APMCs by circulating model laws among states, UTs for adoption. The legislative competence of central government to enact an overarching national law on the same is likely to be disputed, especially because it may result in a reduction of revenue generated by states by prohibiting the imposition of fees in non-APMC trade areas. Sir, the dispute resolution mechanism is too complicated for small farmers. So, sir, I would like to request through you at the end, on behalf of my party Biju Janata Dal and my leader Shri Naveen Patnaik sir, who has always honored farmers and he has always taken farmers on the top priority, sir. I'll conclude, sir, in a minute. I would recommend you, sir, I would request through you to the Honorable Minister that this bill should go to the Standing Committee for scrutiny for more and more clarity. Our farmers feed us, sir. I think this bill has been brought very hastily, sir. So let's take the deliberations of the Standing Committee and then take the call on what's to be done. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Thank you so much, sir.